Hello and welcome to Uncommonly Good MTG. My name is Dr. Rufus Spectacular Genocidal Mandarin Joe Suckit. That's my given name. Anyways, tonight I am bringing you a deck that is called Mono Black Discard. Not a very sexy name, but it's what it does, and it features a lot of new cards from the Kamigawa set. Before we get to that, let me just ask you kindly one time to please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you would. Both those things let me know that I'm doing a good job and that you'd like to see more content like this. All right, so let's take a look at what's in this deck. We start off with Dockside Chef. This guy looks like he could have a lot of utility to him. He's only one to put out, and he's got a 2 for a butt. So that's a good amount of blocking right there, against some of those 1/1s you might be fighting with. Plus, other than that, sacrifice an artifact creature to draw a card. I mean, good. He's not fantastic, but I mean, he's definitely, as a 1-drop, he's got a lot going on. I mean, for black to get a 1/2 for 1, even that is great. And being able to have the rest of that, that's really good. Dead Fog, or Fugue, I guess that's how it's pronounced. Dead Fugue. So I haven't been a fan of Cleave. It just kind of freaks me out a little bit. I guess it's the same as Kicker, just they're spelling it in a different way. The big thing is that instead of having to pay both those cards or those things together, it's just one. Like if this was just Kicker 2 down below, wouldn't it be the same thing essentially? But whatever. So anyways, target reveals hand. You choose an all-land card from it, and then they discard it. There you go. So yeah, whatever, for 1, and potentially 3, sure, why not? If I'm playing hand 8, it seems like an okay low-end card for that kind of thing. Eyetwitch, who exists pretty much to get things from the sideboard, and we got some stuff over here. Looks pretty standard. A couple of mascot excavation, and we got the ability to go get some land. I'm surprised there's only one of those. And a lot of pets, or pests. Necrotic Fumes lets you exile a creature or planeswalker. All right, so then we have Village Rites. There's a different Village Rites that I'd probably be playing at this point rather than this one. I mean, I'm not sure why we wouldn't use the Kamigawa card in this, but whatever. We got Acquisitions Expert, because here's a 1/2 for 2, and then they just allow you to they get to choose what they want you to look at, and then you get to pick which of those cards it goes. But it's usually always 1, so it's not that great. It's that's what I'm saying. It's a Dockside Chef at 1 for a 1/2. Seems like it should be 2 mana like this. Deadly Dispute. This is part of the black ramp. You can sacrifice one of your weenies that gets out here. Like the Virus Beetle, it's an existing card that's just been renamed Virus Beetle and has new art. But that's nice to keep things fresh. But yeah, it gets out, they have to discard something, and then this guy's just, Deadly Dispute or Village Rites bait at that point. Or a chump blocker. We got the Infernal Grasp. God, I love it. I love it. I mean, it's destroy target creature for 2, and you lose 2 life. I don't care. That's fine. I guess the only thing that'd be better would be like 3 gray and a black, and it would say destroy target creature. You can use as much life as you want for the gray or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. We've seen the Beetle already. Meathook Massacre, I think we're all familiar with at this point. It's one of my favorite cards. Helps, that's pretty much a board wipe, much like Blood on the Snow. And what's nice about Blood on the Snow, though, is that you can distinctly target planeswalkers. And it'll help bring back, anything you might have accidentally put that made it to the graveyard. The thing about this deck is I don't see anything. It's like you get rid of their hand, you get rid of their hand, you get rid of their hand, and then what? You don't really do anything with this deck. There's nothing on the high end, right? I guess this is it right here. Junji the Midnight Sky. He's a 5/5 flying with Menace. So yeah, okay. I don't know what I was thinking, because yeah, I guess I just don't think of 5/5s as being that big anymore. You got Toxrill, or like the Hull Wrecking, the horrific Hull Wrecker, or whatever it is. You know, those are 7/7s. That seems like the big guys you're kind of looking at. But a 5/5 flyer with menace is actually pretty decent. And what's nice about this is that you got that after it dies, you have to discard 2 cards, or let's put target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard into the battlefield under your control. Nice, 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 nice. You lose 2 life though, but I'm not sure what else you'd want to. Oh, like maybe it's Henrika would be what you want to go digging for generally. I mean, because anything else you have, you're not really going to do too much with it. I guess you got some. You know, you can go get the things that'll make them discard some more, in case you're really, you know, what's in their hand and you really want to get rid of it. Yeah, you know, you really need more of this go blank because people, you know, there's a lot of things that get sent to the graveyard and then it just comes back. They got what's the term for it? There's a keyword for it. I forget. It's the one that allows them to play it from the graveyard. Yeah, this one is so good because it just takes out the graveyard. All that stuff that's being held to the side in exile is just gone. I mean, it's not even in exile, but it's in the graveyard. It looks like it's in exile, and they can play it, but it's just this will wipe it out. You got all those creature / enchantments, you know, that become enchantments after they die. They're gone. You know, the only thing it doesn't take care of is the foretold stuff. Inscription of Ruin. I think this guy is really coming to his own at this point. Right now in the meta, you've got this problem where there's too many little creatures that just balloon up like crazy, but they still have tiny little mana values. If you're really looking for your cost savings benefit, is start looking for cards that say destroy creature with mana value of X or less, because there's going to be a ton of them out there that have mana value of X or less. I mean, the only thing that's doing otherwise is what, like your Gruul decks or like mono green or something. Those are only guys that actually are paying for some real muscle. White, red, they're all paying just nothing. Black even, just cheap, 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 cheap. And the mana value destroyers are where the real value is today. Return target creature card with mana of 2 or value. So that means you can pick like 90% of your creatures out of your graveyard and bring them back. And you also got the ability to do it. The only thing is that, yeah, if you really want to do all of those things, it's going to cost you, looks like 8 to do it. That's a lot to pay. Let's see. Reckoner Shakedown is a new card. Target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, that player discards that card. If you don't, you put 2+1+ counters on creature or vehicle you control. Well, there's no vehicles in this deck, so I guess you'd just be hoping to put it on, you know, something that you're not sacrificing, because it seems like you really kind of just want to do that. All right, so here we go for Agadeem's Awakening, and it's either a land, which is really kind of nice, or you have the ability to return creatures from your graveyard, but they each have to have a different mana value. And usually I find myself playing this, I usually do like 3 at the most, so it's like 6 total, which means if we were to bring things back, it would be something that was a 1, something that it's a 2, and do we have anything up here that's a 3? That's a creature? Nothing. So you'd probably only get back like 2 different cards, because like to be able to play Henrika and then all the others, you'd have to pay like 7 into this thing to be able to make it work. So, and even if you're getting creatures back, you know, all you can be doing is force them to discard a bunch, probably. So I'm not really sure what the point of this is. Just maybe if you need some blockers, it just seems so ineffective. What's this last thing over here? We got Invoke Despair. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. So they have to sacrifice a creature. They have to do it. But if they can't because they don't have any, then they lose 2 life and you draw a card. Wonderful. And that costs 5. But then it says, then repeat this process for an enchantment. So they have to sacrifice it. And if they don't have any enchantments, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. And a planeswalker, which means if they don't have a creature, a planeswalker, or an enchantment, they're going to lose 6 life, and you're going to draw 3 cards, and all that's going to cost you is 5 mana. So this one looks fantastic. I love this card, Invoke Despair. That seems pretty cool. All right, Blood on the Snow, I think we already talked about, and we've got for lands, let me get rid of this stuff over here. We've got 4 man lands. We got a bunch of fast swamps. We got 4 Fuel the Ruins. That's a lot. And then Takenuma Abandoned Mire, which discard Takenuma Abandoned Mire, mill 3 cards, then return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature, so it costs 4, and you get to do Graveyard Recursion to your hand. Not bad, not bad. So therefore, if you're not going to use it, see, this is, I mean, here's the deal: is what's the difference between this card and this card right there? It's the same thing, isn't it? I mean, this one has the ability to pay for your life to bring it in untapped, but this one automatically comes in untapped, and this one gives you, so it's the same thing. It's, why did they do it this way? I don't know. Channel, this is the exact thing as this card right here. I guess the big difference is that this, no, because I'm still playing it as a sorcery or something, right? I'm not even sure if it's a sorcery. It might even be an instant. Yeah, it's discard, which means you can play that at any time. All right, yeah, so this is exactly the same as this. It's not, instead of being a split card, it's just done this way. So if we see it in the future, then let's call it channel like this. I think the big difference here is that there's a lot of text, right? Because if this one, the land that can just be in one little line, and then you got all that text at the bottom. But here you got a lot of text in both of them, and so you had to provide all that stuff to it. So anyways, I think that's a great mix of lands. I think that it's an interesting mix of cards. I'm worried because it doesn't seem like there's a bunch of muscle at the far end. You know, these guys can potentially be really great. That menace is going to work out really well, I think. But like, do you really have the even like any sort of like creature kill? I guess we got the Inscription of Ruins, and then I guess the Meathook Massacre. Jeez, it just seems a little wonky. I guess we'll just have to play it and see how it works out. All right, up against mattprid. mattprid. 3 mana, and I got a little beetle. Let's keep it, see what we can do. Playing against mono red. Was this red black? Nope, just red. Get your free licks in while you can there, bud. I'm gonna have to go faster. Alright, let's see what I could do. I got 3 mana. I'm just gonna have to start twisting some necks is what I'm gonna have to do. That's 2 of my life right there though. Ugh! Yeah, see, sucks. I could do this. Put it out. That's 3. All right, now he's top decking. I managed to stall him out at 2 when I have 2 life left. Oh, sweet googly, effing moogly. All right, whatever. There you go. Game over. Now we're playing against Bozar, the Barbarian. 3 mana, no creatures. Use our hand, choose an on-card bounty. Let's go do that. You feel your hand, and I shall do something horrible. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of some more stuff. We're getting rid of here, this guy. I don't have any creatures to play. That's kind of bad. I'm a long ways away from being able to blood on the snow. I need one more for that. Oh, I just say just return creature, return target creature card. What I got over here? Anything? Nothing. No, no. What about this? Mill 3 cards, return a creature card. Sure, can I do this? Let's do it. I don't have enough mana for that that dragon. Oh, I should have deadly disputed. A little too quick on the draw. But see, everything's stalling out here at 4 mana. I got some stuff to do, but he's not putting anything, field anything that my cards can do. That's not good. Come on, mana. No, still nothing. What a struggle this is. Alright, another mana, but oh, we killed a mana in the making. Still at 4. Need 5 badly. Still no mana and no creatures. Nothing at all. Alright, let's just get what he's got in his hand. A land. That was fun. There we go. Invoke Despair, so they have to sacrifice a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life, and I draw a card. And then they have to do it for enchantment, and then they have to do it for the other. I'll attack. Discard a card. What am I discarding here? Deadly Dispute. Going for the attack. Guess he's not going to get rid of that one. Let's see, do I have anything in here? I can probably pull something cool next turn. Let's just pop this guy. See what we can get. Nothing great. All right, so we got out Henrika, and she allowed us to get rid of that dragon. What does she got next? There we go. We win now. Jeez. You know, the deck was fighting us. That was the problem. We should have done much better than that. ArkAquilo. All right, 3 mana. Got a creature. We have the ability to dispute. Let's do it. Disgusting flying rats. Ugh. All right, playing against enchantments. I kill him anytime. Let's go straight for the hand. What did we throw away there? Well, it looks very familiar. Yeah, we got a shrine. At the beginning of your step, you may pay, if you do, put a +1 counter on target shrine for each shrine you control. No blocks. I am not ready for that. Okay, we got another mana. And let's start hitting out their hand. Let's take a look what they got first. All right, the Guardian Pelion, don't care about those. What do we got? These things suck as long as you have these creatures trample and lifelink. This is what I really want to get rid of is this. And yeah, I'll attack. I would totally be willing to trade with your stupid shrine. Both of those are susceptible to my Inscriptions of Ruin. No matter how many counters they have on them, they will both die. So now I'm going to have to fight through that. That'll kind of suck. So the next turn I could do, well, I can do Inscription of Ruin again. He's gonna pop himself again. Four. Okay, we got the single one out there. I can just twist the neck. I'll attack. All right, and there we go. Too much for them. So this was the a new mono black discard deck featuring mini cards from Kamigawa Neon Genesis. And I thought it did fairly well. I mean, in reality, the deal is that people seem to get kind of pissed that you were taking, they didn't have any cards in their hand, and they didn't really feel like fighting through it. So it seemed like they kind of just sort of gave up just from being irritated that they couldn't play the deck that they wanted to play. And I've been there many times. And maybe that's what you're doing with this type of deck. But let's take a look to see what kind of awesome things we had going on. Dockside Chef, you know, here's the deal. I like him so much better than that dwarf that you sacrifice treasure or creatures to draw a card. Just because he is not a big, ugly looking jerk like that dwarf is. Nothing against, dwarfs in general, but that card is just drawn wrong. I just cannot stand the art. This guy, I like him. Look, he's only one to put out, and he's a 1/2. That's pretty sweet. I think this guy is great for black decks. What do we got here? That's an old one. I've actually never played with it before. That cleave thing, it's all right. It's all right. Eyetwitch, Village Rites. We've got Acquisition Expert, Deadly Dispute. I just have such a hard time with Deadly Dispute. A lot of people seem to use this like crazy. I, on the other hand, I just never really have time or want to sacrifice my creatures to it. There's a lot to be sacrificed to it. Eyetwitch is, Dockside. I sacrificed himself to Dockside Chef. I did it while he had summoning sickness. So once again, Dockside Chef is pretty sweet as far as utility and ability to get the stuff, on your turn. This guy is still he's really really good. Infernal Grasp is always great. Virus Beetle, this is exactly like the other card that's been sitting around before. It's just different. It just says Virus Beetle instead otherwise. But you don't want to play with a new card. This was an okay to put it in. It costs 2 to put it out. Your opponent discards a card of their choice. It's just nice and clean, and you got something to sacrifice. So good for it. Meathook Massacre, one of my favorite cards. This and whatever Cosmos Elixir would pretty much be the definition of what I love in Magic cards right now. Go Blank. Oh yeah, I love this card, and I'm surprised there's just one of them in here. Man, I might potentially swap this out if I decide to keep this deck around, because to me, Go Blank is perfection in hand hate decks like this. Inscription of Ruin. Today I was using this like a crazy man. It's always great to have a Swiss Army knife that's capable of doing multiple things, even if you only use one at a time. I mean, kicker on this is what, 5? It's like 8. I think you have to put both of them together to be able to do the full kicker. So it's super expensive, but then you get to do all of them. Discard 2 cards. Return target creature with mana of 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. You got plenty of that. Destroy target creature with mana value 3 or less. In today's meta, this card is super powerful. It doesn't say with power of 3 or less. It's mana value. And there's so many decks that are all about getting out these like little things like the aspirants or whatever, and like the generous visitor. And it's all about, oh yeah, they're 1/1s, but we're gonna blossom them like crazy. Well, guess what can destroy them? Inscription of Ruin. This card I think is going to be even more valuable going forward. And plus, in this one, it could be either a creature kill or a discard, or you could drag your own cards back from the graveyard. That is just fantastic. When this set goes out, they had better give us another set of cards like this. Okay, Reckoner Shakedown. Target reveals their hand. You know what? I was not as impressed with this. I mean, it costs 3, and it pretty much does what... God, there was something else that was doing the same thing. You just got to take a look at it and get rid of 1 card. I thought for 3, this was way too expensive. And for, you got to put counters on a creature on if you don't choose to discard it, you got to put counters on one of your guys. So I actually, this did not come in the original deck. I just needed something to put in there because I didn't have the cards we needed yet. So, but yeah, I definitely bypassed Reckoner Shakedown. This one kind of just was stupid. This is a great card. Henrika, she totally saved the day on one of those games we were playing because she came out, they had to sacrifice, it was the dragon, the one with the dragon in it. And she, basically I sacked one of my own creatures. He sacked his creature. Henrika was sitting there smiling. Henrika, you fantastic card. Good job for you. What else did we see here? I got this guy out for probably a round. Flying and Menace. And then when he died, he got to then force the discard of 2 cards and lose 2 life, which was great. So, it's something. I mean, it just seems a little weird. He's just a Flying Menace 5/5 for the most part. But at least he gets a certain, suck it if he gets killed. So not bad. Not bad at all. What was this last one here? Invoke Despair. So I did play this. It only cost 5. And they had to lose 2 life. And I draw a card if they wouldn't sacrifice a creature. They had to sacrifice a creature if they couldn't. And they didn't have any creatures out. And then they do this for enchantments and planeswalkers. They didn't have any of those either. So he ended up losing 6 life. And I got 3 cards off the deal. And I could tell you, if he sacrificed a Planeswalker or even one of his enchantments, I would have loved it and only taken whatever 2 life or whatever. Still, it would have been well worth it. So this, I think, Invoke Despair is a great card because of what you get off of it and what it does to them. Blood on the Snow, good. And I used this to go digging at one point, milled 3 cards and tried to get a creature. We got barely anything from it. So yeah, this, oh, what do we got? No, we actually got something great. It was Junji, the Midnight Sky. That's what we got from it. The only problem was I only had 4 mana, and that was in the game I could not get to 5 mana for some reason. So, is this deck great? I don't think it's great. Is it good? Absolutely it's good. Could it do better? Yes, it can. So, you know, there's places where we can still make some arrangements. I still think, I don't know, I would have to go back and take a look. I don't have anything immediate in my mind, but yeah, this guy needs to go. Maybe Go Blank needs to be ramped up to 3 then. The lands look good. I really like that. Hive Mind, because I mean, I got in with some Hive Mind damage there. Field Ruins, you got 4. Maybe you could choke that back a little bit. And maybe ramp this one up a couple more at that situation. You know, it's funny, I only had the 1, so I think I even have to choke it down from 2 to 1 because all I have is 1 right now. So, yeah, it was a good deck. It's definitely a great beginning to what could be a great deck. And it could be fairly competitive at that point. It needs to have a little bit better board presence as far as creatures are concerned. You know, because I just don't think it has the control it needs otherwise. I mean, you can dig at people's hands as much as you want, but the problem is ultimately they're still top decking. Everyone's still allowed to draw a card, and you have to pretty much take whatever they get. And there's nothing you can do about that. So anyways, that is mono black discard with Kamigawa type cards. Hey, that's it for now. I thank you very much for watching. I would really appreciate it if you could like or subscribe to this video because it helps me out a lot. I just want to remind you that you've made this day a special day just by being you. There is no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are. I hope to see you back here tomorrow, folks. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye-bye.